We're going to look at a few types of congressional committees, and this is really, really important. Make sure that you get down in your notes that almost all work that is done in Congress is done in congressional committees. There are 435 members in the House of Representatives, 100 members in the Senate. If every time a member of Congress submitted a bill and you had all 435 members in the House trying to discuss it at one time, they would get very, very little done, even less done than what most people assume that they do right now. So almost all the work that is done in Congress is done in a committee. And so when Congress first started, they would create a committee for every single bill that was introduced. We have about 10,000 bills that are introduced every year. So imagine having 10,000 committees that were formed. And so what they decided to do was, let's make subject matter committees that when a bill is introduced on a specific subject, then we know that we're going to submit it to that. So on the left-hand side, there is a list of all the House standing committees. So if there is any bill that deals with agriculture, we're going to send it to that committee. And it's just a much smaller group of people who are going to discuss and debate that particular bill before we send it back to all 435 members. Appropriations, that's a very, very important committee, so make sure that you're getting in your notes the Appropriations Committee as far as a standing committee, and you'll notice they have that in the House and the Senate. That's your spending committee. A lot of members want to be on that because they're the ones that get to say how the money, how our tax dollars, very, very important committee. The other one that's extremely important in the House of Representatives is the Ways and Means Committee. The Ways and Means Committee is the Committee on Taxation. And any bills that are going to be dealing with taxes have to originate in the House of Representatives. We want the group or the body that is going to be taxing and taking our money from us to start in the House in Congress that is most closely or is closest to its constituents. And so once again, the House of Representatives, they only serve for 2 years, so much shorter term. They don't represent the whole entire state. They represent a much smaller group of people. Their constituency is much smaller. It's not the whole entire state. It's just one district. And they've always been elected by the people. Senators used to be chosen by the state legislature. So we're going to make sure if we're going to spend your money and tax you, those types of bills have to start in the House of Representatives. Any other bill can start in the Senate, but your appropriations is your spending, your Ways and Means is your taxing. And so on the right-hand side, these are your standing committees in the Senate. And so they don't have the same number of committees because there are a lot fewer members in the Senate. But a bill that a bill that starts in the House of Representatives, they would find a committee in the Senate that would match that particular subject matter. Might not be the same exact one or be called the same exact one, but they're going to find something in the Senate to pair that up with. Permanent subject matter committees. All right, joint committees and conference committees, and I put these together because a conference committee is a type of joint committee. Joint committees just have members of the House and the Senate. So you can have standing joint committees, and there are 4 of those. You can have select committees, which has members from both the House and Senate, and a conference committee. Joint committees, whether it's standing, whether it's conference, whether it's select, joint just means it has members from both the House and the Senate. And once again, down there at the bottom, they can be temporary, they can be permanent, they can be over routine matters. The printing and the library, those are standing committees. They have members from both the House and the Senate, and they're together. A study group for a specific purpose, but those just have members from both the House and Senate. Conference committee, extremely important committee. You have to know this, and you'll run across this again when you watch the video over how a bill becomes a law. Conference committee is a type of joint committee because it has members from both the House and the Senate. This committee, a bill is going to go through before it can go to the president because we have to take a bill. We can't have two different versions of the same bill go to the president. So the House of Representatives usually has one version, the Senate has another version. We have to bring members from those standing committees um, and have them iron out the differences so that we have one version of a bill that we are going to send to the president. So conference committee irons out the differences of a bill that's been through the House and the Senate, and it's just not identical. A special or select committee. This is for some sort of investigative purpose. And so on the left-hand side there, if you're familiar with the incident that happened at the in Benghazi where our embassy was overrun and the ambassador was killed, several members of the service who were protecting them were killed. And so what they did was they brought together, there was a House Select Committee on Benghazi and a Senate Select Committee on Benghazi. So you have them investigating what exactly happened. Hillary Clinton had to testify at this hearing, and I was actually at the House hearing on Benghazi, not this one that they're showing here, but another one that they had over investigating what happened. There was another one, a bipartisan committee investigating the response to Hurricane Katrina. Down at the bottom, there was a select committee investigating what happened at the Watergate incident. So these are for some specific purpose to investigate whether it's what happened in Benghazi, whether, what happened, what went wrong when we responded to Hurricane Katrina, what happened with the Watergate incident. All of these need to be investigated, but we don't need them to be permanent. So they are special committees or select committees for that one specific purpose. As soon as we write our report on that or make our findings, then we are going to disband that particular committee.